rescue Op, save the dinosaurs from an island that's about to explode. What could go wrong?
Welcome to Fallen Kingdom. We return to Jurassic World 1 minute at a time. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And in this episode we're discussing minute 55 of Fallen Kingdom. Before we get to that, David, heading back over to Jurassic-Pedia.com. Because we are heading down to the labs and seeing some more of the Lockwood Mansion, the Lockwood Manor. We've got the article back up here for Lockwood Manor. Mainly focusing this time on those three sub-levels, or the three lower levels of the mansion that we see here, the labs, the animal storage, the cages, and a bit of a ride up here. We've got some photos from the film, and it's where we're going to sort of be set for a lot of the film moving forward.
Yeah.
All 120 minutes of it. I didn't think we had that much of the movie to go, but damn, we're not even halfway yet, and we're off the island.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing here is that the back half of the movie was kind of rewritten a lot by Bayona himself, so we kind of get this personal touch of his where it's more of a gothic horror than we've gotten before in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and we've said before, like a lot of fans do love this sort of haunted house sort of feel for a Jurassic movie. So. We're going to talk a bit later whether it should have been Indo-Raptor or maybe something else, but quite an extensive article up here, and anything else on that?
No, I think we're good.
Head over to Jurassic-Pedia for this article and many more.
This operation has been many years in the planning. Genetic power is an uncharted frontier. The potential for growth is more than you can fathom.
Dave, we're in again in minute 55.
Sounds good.
Alright, minute 55, Fallen Kingdom opens with a tour of the lab and ends with Maisie watching her grandpa sleep. The Mills exposition dump continues into minute 55. Man is drawn to war and is willing to use any means necessary to win it. As we mentioned at the end of last minute, Dave, you're saying that quote from Malcolm that you're just going to keep on trying to get a bigger stick, a bigger weapon until finally you've destroyed yourselves. Toby Jones asks the same question we had in Jurassic World. You're going to weaponise them? Unfortunately, they come to a door marked restricted access. I do have to wonder, it is a hidden lab, and you must presumably only have an access code to get down to it. So you'd already have access to that restricted area. It's like saying going into a nuclear reactor or something and having a nuclear warning symbol on there, like, yes, of course. We've been using animals in combat for centuries. Horses, elephants. The Soviets used disease-carrying rats against the Germans in Stalingrad. This is all just coming off the same as Hoskins trying to convince Owen that his raptors are going to do good in Tora Bora.
Well, it's a sales pitch. Sounds like he's been thinking about it for a while.
Yeah, but then just come off sounding like Hammond.
It comes off sounding like a hustle.
Yeah. Mills pulls a remote from his pocket and pushes a button, and the lights in the lab turn down to a dark blue. Interesting, last minute they'd retrofitted, upgraded all the tech in the labs. Remote control lighting must have been at the top of that priority list too. Obviously, he's going down there to make a presentation, but you wouldn't think having remote control lights would be something that'd be down there. It looks cool for the movie, but that's about it. Especially when someone takes that remote home and no one else can find it.
Damn it, where did I leave that remote? Oh, crap. Did Steve take it home?
Or worse, it's in your back pocket and you go to sit down, especially with something small like that, and just hear the crack.
I've been so afraid. I remember when the Razr phone came out, and I was like, nope, can't get that. I'll sit on it, and that'll be the best.
Well, even just the little remote for the Apple TV. It's just so small.
Oh, I'm guessing that's happened to you?
No, not yet, but I've been very cautious and very careful with it, because even just having it on the ground and being walked on, I reckon, would bend it. But Mills continues, our geneticists have created a direct descendant of Henry Wu's masterpiece, the animal that took down Jurassic World. Was it a masterpiece? I know it done a lot of things that Wu wasn't expecting, camouflage and things like that. Again, I suppose he is talking it up, because obviously there's been hearings, there's been inquiries and everything. Toby Jones says the Indominus Rex, he knows what the animal was. Although I'd be interested to know how much the public actually knew about it, but I'm sure Owen and Claire, well, Claire definitely would have piped up and said this thing was a lot worse than just another dinosaur.
Yep.
And Mills hits a button and brings up a hologram of this new animal, standing there in an aggressive stance, which I don't understand. I don't know why it can't be just sitting there rotating as the animal itself. But her DNA was retrieved from the island way before its destruction. Forms the architecture of a completely new creature. Every bone and muscle designed for hunting and killing, and thanks to Alan Grady's research, it follows human command. We call it the Indo-Raptor. Dun dun dun. And I do have to ask, Grant would tell you that every bone and muscle in a velociraptor is designed for hunting and killing. I know they wanted something else here, but there's no reason why this couldn't have been raptors. But then I'm sure, yes, well, here we go, we got raptors again. They've been the aggressor in all the films, really, so...
Well, I mean, they are kind of the quote-unquote villain. Interestingly, this is like the only time we ever actually see a kind of skeletal system for this animal.
It makes me wonder, like, it's coming across as a presentation if you're going to show the animal. Here's its bone structure. The hologram does change, and you can see it sort of filling in tissue and organs, and then presumably if we stayed watching a little bit later, you'd see what the exterior looked like. But we don't get that until we actually see the creature itself. So I don't know if this is just some if it's Wu's what would you call it, sketchpad for what he wanted to create in hologram form, or if Mills has got a little backdoor presentation program that he's been putting together for instances just like this, even though they're nowhere near ready to sell the product.
Not sure.
but also too, Owen's research, and we talked about this in Jurassic World. He's controlled the raptors once. he wasn't a long way into that research at the point where he could go into the cage and be safe. So to take that research and then all of a sudden, well, here we've been able to tell the Indo-Raptor what to do. Well, technically we haven't. We're going to get there. They just put a light on it and play a sound. Which I suppose you could call that telling it what to do, but it's not. It's just go attack that there, and that's about it. And there's no stop, heel, sit, good doggy. None of that sort of stuff. Mealtime. But yeah, we're going to get to see more of this creature later on. But that's it for the lab for this minute. Anything else on the lab before we go upstairs for a little bit?
No, I think we're good.
No, all right. We do leave the lab here and go upstairs to Lockwood's room. Maisie slowly opens the door and looks into the bedroom where her grandfather is in bed sleeping. Sleeping upright, so he's fallen asleep again, as old people do. Brings to mind the photo meme that everyone always wants to post around the internet of the old gentleman that looks like Hammond on the train, or the bus or whatever it is, asleep. She calls to Grandpa, but he doesn't respond, and as the minute ends, Maisie closes the door and starts to walk towards his bedside to try and sneak that diary or that photo album away from him, but that's going to be next minute. Looking at novel comparisons, pretty much everything we see, all the dialogue's the same in the movie as it is in the novel. But when Toby Jones sees the hologram, his eyes light up with greed and asks Mills to show him the animal, which I think we do get in a couple of minutes' time, them going to its cage. So we'll look forward to that. But in the meantime, Dave, I think that's it for 55. How about we get out of here for it, and we'll be back next week for another minute?
Sounds good.